Well, sometimes it's not that easy, and sometimes it's not always clear, but I just can't.
Welcome again. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Felicity Harley, the Executive Director of the World Affairs Council. It gives me a great pleasure to thank my good friend Mark Scheinberg for bringing these two extraordinary guests, and now three extraordinary guests, who he's going to introduce to you from, I think, two of the most important or very important countries, India and Pakistan, extraordinarily important. And Mark, as you know, is the CEO and president of Goodwin College. If you haven't been over there, you should. It's just a fantastic place. He is an extraordinary entrepreneur. He is just a very humble but also really brilliant person who I've really enjoyed getting to know, and really thank him so much for bringing us this fantastic opportunity. We collaborated with General David Petraeus, and now we're collaborating on this, and I suspect that we're going to have many more adventures and many more collaborations. So without further ado, I'd love to bring him up here and to have him introduce our three extraordinary guests. Thank you.
Thank you all so much. I'm a member of the local chapter of the Young Presidents Organization, and then from there I ended up being on the international board of the Young Presidents Organization. And through that, you get to be in places where your eyes get opened. And working so much in other countries, coming back to Connecticut and seeing the work that the World Affairs Council does made it really obvious that we're not such a big place that we can afford to work independently all the time. And so it is my hope that as we go forward, if YPO has a significant speaker coming in, or the college has a significant speaker coming in, or the World Affairs Council has a significant speaker coming in, that we need to leverage those people as much as possible, because the message is so important. And we make a mistake sometimes in hoarding what we bring in when we really should be making sure it goes out as much as possible. When I was in YPO, I heard of a wonderful story, and the story was this. As you probably might guess, no matter where you are in the world, it's important to have peace. Without peace, you cannot have thriving business communities or personal communities. And so there are cases in the world where politically it's very difficult to cross the divide and make things happen with your enemy. But from a business point of view, you have other opportunities. And it creates the opportunity, in fact, for what we'd call back-channel diplomacy. And the two folks that we have coming in today, we made an invitation to two people, one from India and one from Pakistan, who had, some years ago, decided to get groups of business leaders from each of those two countries who were still very much in a state of conflict, and begin to have them meet out of the area to create what's called forums or networks, so that they would begin to understand each other better and understand how they might be able to bridge that gulf. It was such a powerful and long-standing process that it rose to the level at which it was appropriate for the Goodwin College to offer an honorary degree to each of them. The meaning and purpose of our talk today is not just what they've done, but how we all sort of have to leverage where we are in life today towards doing something that's somewhat outside ourselves. And so I'm going to invite them up in a second. And I also wanted to take some time, given the state and the emergent state of that region, to perhaps spend some time as well talking about the status of relations and internal relations, both in Pakistan and in India, and how that's sort of spilling out. This is going to be a very informal thing that we're about to do. It's what we would call inside the boardroom. We're not here to give long speeches, but we're here to be coming to you as colleagues and peers and be able to give you a story and some insights and hopefully some important things you may not have just read in the paper or heard on TV. And so much of this is going to be happening in a question and answer period, and the real richness of it will come not from just us up here, but from the group that's sitting in front of us. If I can, first person I'd like to introduce, we'll have everybody, actually, I want you to have all you guys come up and sit here at the same time. I'll introduce you once you're up here. They're perfectly, they're mic'd up and I am not. First gentleman, I'm going to stand. You're going to sit right here there, Suketu. My first friend here is that's sitting, well, I'll do, as Amin Hashwani is now nearer to me. Amin is a businessman in Pakistan, similar to many businessmen in that part of the world. He has lots of family businesses and conglomerates, and he has been incredibly active with not only peace action work, but he's also done work with helping small businesses and micro businesses, and he's done a lot of work just around the efforts of creating peace. He's championed peace groups between Israel and Arab countries, and certainly between India and Pakistan, and he'll be one of our first speakers. Second is Shah. Shah is he's the president director of Mukan Limited, which is India's largest producer of specialty stainless and alloy steels. It's actually a very large conglomerate. He's done tons of work both within his company, but also on the outside. I could give you a long resume that is not as important as I think what he has done as far as creating understanding between India and Pakistan. And then our surprise guest tonight, which we didn't expect, is Salman Ahmed. And Salman is on the other side. Salman was actually, it's always fun when you go between countries. He's actually one of the founding members of Junoon, which is actually one of the most greatest and most long-standing rock groups in South Asia. He's actually, if we were a few miles from now, a lot of you people would be throwing up underwear or something like that. And he's actually in the States where he's doing a visiting professorship at Queens College, and so he's a good friend of Amin's, and he brought him up as a visitor, and I said, well, he's going to have some insights as well, because music tends to span borders as well. So if I can, let me leave it to you guys just to perhaps give a little background on where you are in place as far as where your company, how you got involved with the Peace Action Network. And Amin, if you want to go ahead.
Sure. All right, this was actually after 9/11. A year after that, it was in a dinner in Lebanon at a YPO MENA conference, and it was more out of a dinner conversation. And we said, the role of the businessman is changing, and we're seeing people like Bill Gates who are crossing borders. We have multinational companies, and we're not just profit-making entities, but we are becoming more like social leaders, not only within our community nationally, but also on the international arena. And we said, why can't we use this YPO platform? We are a group, it is a network of business people. Why can't we use this to try and build some bridges, build some understandings? Because a lot of us coming from the East, and a lot of us studied in the West and the US, so we do have certain unique opportunities to view a particular issues from multiple angles. We do read press in a variety of countries. So I think our conclusion really was, yes, there might be certain core issues, but a lot of it has a snowball effect, and we have these